Do what?
What time?
I got no idea. No, ground crew was asking what time they were expecting me at Pike's camp, and I got no idea. I'll text you from the tracker. Remember to text back from the tracker. Or to the tracker.
Rotate your ass.
What?
Rotate your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Every 2 hours.
Not on video. Okay, MKA-Matt. I was gonna do the Osage River, the Missouri River, Marion to Noreen, test things out again, but that didn't work. The road was closed getting there, and we didn't feel like taking the detour. So I came to St. Thomas on the Osage River, where I will be going to Pike's camp. And I don't remember how far that is. It's a couple miles anyway. So we're at St. Thomas, just pushed off. Things are going good, but then again we just pushed off. So we'll see how things go on downriver. River seems to have a little bit of current to it today. I'd say they're probably releasing or have released from the dam. So I took my thigh pads out of this kayak to see if it'd be a little more comfortable. I was thinking maybe that might be my problem. And so this trip is going to see how that goes. So anyway, I'm going down the Osage River a little bit. It's a beautiful day. I don't know what the river level is, but it is up. So it should be a fun little trip. Early spring, so water temperature is still very cold. But I plan on staying upright. But then again, every kayaker plans on staying upright. So, I will see you when something interesting comes up or whatever. Look downriver. Should be a beautiful day. Okay, so one of my other videos, I was on the Osage River with Little Man and a co-worker, and we came across a couple of wing dike type structures that kind of resembled the lock and dam. I'm not sure what this river level is today, but anyway, I have those points marked on my GPS, and I was watching for them, or the first one right here, and river didn't let me know nothing about it was there or nothing, but I went right over it. Didn't even have a clue I went over it, other than the GPS told me or showed me that I just went over it. So according to the river gauge app that I use, which is Rivercast, Osage River St. Thomas is showing 11.2 feet. So the river level today, as of 9:45 this morning, and it is now 11:30, the river was at 9.4, I'm sorry, 11.2 feet. So as long as the river's up a little bit, you don't have to worry about those structures. And I didn't previously check the Rivercast because I really didn't care, because I knew the river was up, so I wasn't too concerned about low water or nothing. And I knew we hadn't had that much rain or anything, so I wasn't too worried about flooding level either. So, this is probably pretty close to the normal level that I have floated this river. So, knowing the river that I do, at least this stretch anyhow, I should have smooth sailing. Okay, so I think I'm having a malfunction with the GoPro. It just did something crazy, turned itself off, and I can not view the videos that I've already shot this morning. So I don't know if the start of this is going to be on here or not. I reset it, so I don't know if I'll get those videos back or not. But anyway, I'm on the Osage River, and we're going to talk a little bit about this river and the structures and whatnot. It has a couple of structures, wing dike type structures, lock and dam type, where you can go through them. They are not lock and dams. They're at low water. A local boater had told me last year when I come across these things that there are 3 of them between St. Thomas and Pike's Camp, and you only see them at low water. And so today the river is at 11 feet something. Anyway, he's boated this river for years. He told me he'd seen a lot of motorboats come flying up through there not knowing they were there and knocking off their lower unit of their motor. So, things to be aware of. If you want to kayak camp this river, put in at Bagnell Dam, and you can come all the way down to Pike's Camp, which is where we're headed today, which is the last takeout on this stretch of river, because the Lock and Dam number 1 is the official name. Lock and Dam number 1, the official name for the Lock and Dam on this river, is downriver from there, and you can't get around it. You have to trespass to get around it, to portage around it. And the homeowner right there, I'm being told, is not very friendly. So Pike Camp is the last takeout on this stretch of river. Anyhow, so if you put in at Bagnell Dam, and you want to kayak camp all the way to Pike's Camp, you have King's Bluff, little conservation boat ramp, nice place for a picnic, lunch, whatever. And then you have Osage Tavern a little bit further down, which is a nice place to camp. And it is a campground, a conservation campground. Very popular with the local campers and boaters. So you might not want to go on a holiday weekend. I did that one year and the place was packed. It is a very nice campground. It is well kept. And I had to find me a little hole in the woods so I could camp tonight before I went on to Pike's Camp. So that's a very nice place to camp if you can make it that far. I did it in a one-day trip from Bagnell Dam. And then I finished the next day at Pike's Camp. So it's easy paddle if the river's up and flowing. I myself don't mind if it's a low river. I got no current, I'll paddle through it anyway. Anyway, today like today, where you guys current on the river, be an easy 2-day trip. I'm doing a St. Thomas to Pike's camp in one day. Don't know the miles offhand. I had to change my plan. I was originally going to go to Marion Access on the Missouri, but road closed, and we didn't feel like going around the detour, so we changed plans, me and my crew, and put me on the Osage. So that's where I am. That's why we're talking about the Osage River, because that's where we are. So it is a very nice river. At lower levels, it does have sandbars to camp on, which I don't know if I would do that, because Bagnell Dam is, of course, upriver, and if they were to release water from the dam, this river can rise significantly in just a few short hours. So if you're on a sandbar, now you're swimming in your sleep. So I advise against camping on a sandbar on this river, just for that reason. But Osage Tavern is high up out the river. It's normal access, so you know, once you camp, if you set up camp at Osage Tavern, regardless of what the dam does, the Bagnell Dam does, you're not going to be swimming in your sleep. So, anyhow, going down river, and of course the river is named after the Osage Indian. There is some fascinating history on Google if you care to look it up. We're at mile marker 29, I see. Mile markers count down to open water. So that was mile marker 29. So I got 29 miles to go to the Missouri River. If you want to kayak all the way from Bagnell Dam to the Missouri River, you can't portage around the lock and dam number 1. But you can take out a Pike's camp, get a vehicle transport down to Mariosa boat ramp. You're gonna miss out, I want to say, about 10 miles of river, maybe more than that, I don't know. But anyway, you're gonna cut off some river time, and then another 10 miles to the Missouri. So that's your best, safest option. Other than that, it is a beautiful river, and I just love being on this river. Okay, so told you there were some lock and dam wing dike features on this river, but at this water level you're gonna go right over them and not know it. Well, I just went over the second one. Now I didn't have this on the first one. Maybe this one's built a little higher or whatever. Anyway, the river told me that I was gonna go over it. It's called reading the water. Let me paddle back up there to it. By the time I got my radio turned off, the GoPro turned on, I had went past it a little bit further. Let me get up here. So, you see this water right in here. Something's just not right with it. It's flowing different from the rest of the river. Alright, that's because the wing dike is right here that we just went over. Go over it just fine. But when you look at the water, the surface of the water, and you see this, there's something under the water. Now, since the waves are all mixed up like this, and not really big waves, Yeah, we are like right on top of the wing dike right now. So I'm sitting right on top of it, but I don't see it in the water. Water is clear for a couple feet down. But if you look at the water, right here where I'm sitting, kind of mixed up and just not different from the rest of the river. When you see the water that's different from the rest of the river, the surface, you know there's something there. See, now we're past it again. So it was up there where I was sitting. I was right on top of it, and I knew I was going over it because the river told me I was going over it, because the water was acting different. Seeing how the water was up there when we were sitting on it. So if you look down river here, like right through here, let me get you turned around so you can see the river, I guess. That would help, wouldn't it? See how this water is nice and calm and it's not all churned up? And up there, it was turned up and going every which way, whatever. That's reading the river. And kind of look back upriver, it probably won't show up on camera. And I've drifted quite a ways past it now already because there's a good current. Yeah. Anyway, hope I got that right for you. But water's here, and all of a sudden, I got some water that wasn't nice and smooth anymore. And of course, it's harder to tell in the wind. But right now it's not windy, blowing the water or nothing, so you can see it better. But up there it had just a slight bit of chop to it. So the river was saying, okay, there's something here. You can get over it, but there's something here. Now the more waves and the more whitewater look that the river has is going to be, you know, closer up to the surface or whatever. So you gotta use caution. But anyway, when you're going down the river and you see this nice, smooth, calm water, and then there's ripples or waves, or the surface of the water level is just different, well, river's telling you, hey, there's something right here. Maybe you want to go around it. I've got enough experience with, when I seen that, I knew what it was, because like I said, I know the stretch of river. It was on GPS. So I looked at my GPS, and sure enough, I was, you know, going right over it. But when I first seen the water, I wasn't watching the GPS. But I'm like, what is going on right here? And then I looked at the GPS, I'm like, okay, that's that wing dam. But the river says you're gonna go over it just fine, so I went over it. And yeah, I got my rudder down. It didn't even hit nothing. Paddles didn't hit nothing. So it's several feet underwater yet. Anyway, that's where reading the water comes in at. Where you got smooth water, maybe the wind's blowing, you got a couple little waves, or maybe the wind is making a little bit ripply. The ripple's going over a log, rocks, underground structure like the lock and dam, or wing dike lock and dam type thing, whatever it is. You know something's there. So look at the scenery, you know, you're paddling down the river and you're enjoying the scenery on the river bank. And of course you're looking ahead of you for logs or whatever at the same time. Pay attention to the water, not just what you see, the water itself. And you'll be a lot better kayaker. You'll know places to avoid, places that should be okay to go to, but there's something there. And you also see, oh, yeah, let's not go over there. Because, you know, we were kids growing up, Mom, a lot of you moms, or a lot of you people are moms and dads now. And I say moms, but dads also knew it. And sometimes dad would say, don't do that. Mom would always say, don't do that. And dad would say it sometimes just because, yeah, they knew you were gonna, you know, get a scrape on your knee or something. Nothing major. So they let you do it just so you'd learn from doing. Mom, on the other hand, she didn't want to see her little babies all scratched up or being on the knee or whatever. So she would always say, don't do that. Well, when Mom said don't do that, or when Dad said don't do that, you knew you were going to get hurt not to do it. So when you see the water doing different things, the surface water doing different things, it's telling you, don't do that, you're going to get hurt. Or in this case with the wing dike, be careful, you could get hurt. It's all the same thing. Now, if I'm right, there should be. Is this the conservation area I thought about? There is a conservation area along this stretch of river. And I thought I had it marked on my GPS. But what I'm looking at is not showing up on my GPS for what I thought it was. It's downriver a little bit more. Okay, so there is a conservation pond up on the riverbank in this stretch of river, and there is no camping there, not allowed, no open cars, nothing. It's pretty much fishing and picnicking only. It's a little hard to find from the river. You can drive into it. I don't remember the name of it. So anyhow, we're going to go down river here. I'm going to find that spot. And we're going to walk up the riverbank, more or less climb. And we're going to go check that out a little bit. But it's hard to find. I got it marked on my GPS. But I know last time I found it, I didn't have a precise landing spot. I had it really close. So anyway, let me get down here and we'll take a look at that little pond, lake, whatever it is when we get there. Alright, so if you come down from St. Thomas and you pass some campers or something on River Right, now this is as you're coming down river, you will see, if you watch River Right, you will see a little white sign. I know it's kind of obstructed by the brush, but that's conservation marker or a conservation sign. So we're getting close to that pond because this is conservation. This is all conservation area right here on River Right as you're coming down river. So GPS has me several feet away from it yet. So let me see if I can get turned around. There's a little bit of current here. Doing a bow stroke. I'm just pushing my bow to the right. By the way, got right rudder, pushing my, using a left stroke to push my bow to the right. Now, when you do that, it's very easy to blow out your shoulder. So don't use much pressure when you do that or you will blow out your shoulder. But yeah, whatever side you want to go to, just go straight out. Take your paddle and straight out. But you gotta be careful not to use too much pressure, you blow your shoulder out. And you can do that in conjunction with the rudder, make your turns more crisp. Alright, so still out a little bit from that. Where I want the landing spot that I'm looking for. We'll get the speed and get down there. Should be right down here in this corner. So I was telling you, there's no camping at this little lake, pond, whatever it is. But if the river's at the right level, and I know I said don't camp on the riverbank here because you know it rises and with the Bagnell Dam release and everything. But you got a good evacuation route here. It won't take very long to get to. Or you can just go right up the hill and be on high ground. Guys have camped right there. I've seen them camp right there. And since you're on the river, I guess it'd be questionable to camp there, but I don't know. People have done it. I've thought about doing it. Haven't done it yet. But a lot of times the river level, whether it's late in the year, is not the right level, and you don't have a camping spot on the river anyway. So you should be coming up on it pretty quick. Okay, so you'll know you got the right spot when you can spot a little trail going up the hillside. Trail is not marked. But there is a white sign. It'll be coming into view here. So there's your sign. Oh, there, and we are here. Okay, so you gotta look for that little white sign right there. GPS is pretty much spot on. So it's got some nice current right here. So we're gonna pull in right here. this level. I don't think I want to try to get out because that's really soupy mud right there. So yeah, we're not gonna mess with that. Anyway, there it is. Just not a good spot to get out nowhere without being a mess of mud or whatever. Yeah, this is not a good spot to get out. Be asking for trouble, I believe. So, sorry guys. Okay. Would like to get you a video of that, but it's just too risky getting out. Sometimes you just gotta rule on the side of safety. So GPS was spot on. I think last time I had my GPS zoomed out too far. And that's why I was having trouble finding it. Last time but anyway, that's beside the point. So now downriver here a little bit, we're going to come to Bloody Island. Now there apparently is a couple of different Bloody Islands. The most famous one is on the Mississippi. I believe it's Mississippi. And during the Indian Wars, back when our country was not a country yet, I guess, or just a newborn country, and we were fighting with the Indians to take their land, there was a massacre between army soldiers and Indians. And the Indian, I forget which chief it was or whatever, but it's pretty interesting to read on Google. If you Google Bloody Island, the soldiers pretty much cornered them on this island and massacred all of them. And so that island got named Bloody Island. This Bloody Island on the Osage, I'm not sure why it got named that, because I Googled it thinking, oh, I found something. And I come across that story, and then I realized it was on the Mississippi River. So it wasn't this island. So it's kind of neat. You get on a river and you come to a whatever place, and you're thinking, I need to Google that. So you Google it, and you find out something very interesting, like this Bloody Island deal. And you're like, oh cool, or well, not that that was cool, but you know, now you know history about the river you like to be on. Only to find out it's a different river, because different rivers have the same name for islands and takeouts and whatever. But you learn different things about different rivers. And then you can say, oh, let's go kayak that river and go to that one place that I thought was on this river. It's kind of neat, you know, things to do. So a little while ago, I passed mile marker 29, was it? Now here's mile marker 26. Remember, they're counting down from the headwaters to open water, which in the Osage River, in the case of the Osage River, is the Missouri River. Of course, the Missouri River counts down to the Mississippi, and of course the Mississippi counts down to the Gulf of Mexico. So, pretty cool. But this stretch of river has got some nice bluffs. Turn the camera around here. There's some nice kind of cool looking bluff down here. If I show up on camera yet, let me get closer and we'll look at it a little bit closer. Hey, here's some nice view of some bluffs. This is pretty close to Painted Rock, which is a conservation. Matter of fact, this could be Painted Rock. This is just a beautiful stretch of river right through here. Got a cave right there, just come into view. Right there. Current's taking me right for that brush pile, so I gotta get busy here and do some paddling and get away from that. But I thought I had Painted Rock marked on my GPS. I'm not sure if this is it or not. Let me play with my GPS a little bit. So, well, I hear a boat. I don't see it yet. Yeah, it's not showing me Painted Rock. Unless Painted Rock is past Bloody Island. I can't remember. Anyway, beautiful stretch of river. Bloody Island is right down here. And there's that boat I was hearing. Now I see it down there in the distance. So, I hear voices. So I'm pretty sure I just passed Painted Rock. It was pretty blessed for Painted Rock, I'm pretty sure. Not why, I'm not sure why it's not on the GPS. So, Painted Rock has hiking trails, I believe. Alright, here we go on with our journey. Okay. So, here I was just drifting with the water right here. Right in here. How it's different. Right out there. Right there. I guess it's showing up on camera, I hope. Alright, so water's different. So there's something under the surface right here. See how the rest of the river is nice and calm? No waves, but right there. See how the water is different right through there? Okay, I just floated over a wing dike. Over there, the river's nice and calm. So there's the wing dike's a little bit higher right there where that water is right there. Right, I think I'm pointing right to it. Anyway, river's saying, hey, there's something here. Be careful. And like I said, over here, water's calm right there. You see it different? Yeah, water's telling you, the river's telling you, hey, be careful right here. It's called reading the river. And if you pay attention to the river, it's going to tell you the dangers that it hides. So when you go out, pay attention to your surface water, what it's doing, nice, calm, whatever. When it's different, and after a while you'll get the experience and the knowledge. When water is like this is what's down there. When water is like this, that's okay. When water is like this, you can go through it, but be careful. I mean, it just comes with experience, and you'll get the hang of it if you just start looking at the water and understanding what's there and why the river is doing, or why that water is doing what it's doing. It's not something, reading the river is not something you pick up overnight. It's learned over time. So pay attention to your water. I was just kind of floating, daydreaming around, and I happened to look at the water and realize, oh, what's there? Look at the GPS, and sure enough, it's marked that the wing dike is right there. So yeah, read the river and understand why the waves are where they are and the kind of waves they are, and you'll be a lot better kayaker. So the reason I'm just drifting and chilling out is because I ran into a local boater, and the both of us couldn't remember how far it is from Pike's camp to St. Thomas to Pike's camp. But we agree it's somewhere between 8 to 12 miles. And I didn't reset my GPS when I left St. Thomas. So it's adding to the last trip I was on. So I have no idea how far I've come. And I'm not worried because Pike's camp is marked on my GPS, so I'm not going to go past it. But anyway, he said I was just a couple miles away from Pike's camp. And I don't want off the river yet. So I am just drifting. And down here in a little bit, we're going to pass a small sand plant. And that's what's getting me the knee. Okay, I gotta fix that. And when you get to that sand plant, you know you're almost to Pike's camp. The sand plant is roughly 2 miles, I believe, from Pike's camp. So it's within sight. The sand plant is within sight. The barges are in sight. So it's only 2 o'clock. I don't want to get off the river yet. So I'm just going to sit here and chill and drift. And going by the scenery, I'm drifting a mile or 2 an hour, I would guess. However, once you get past that sand plant where they've been dredging, because yes, they dredged this river, just right here close by the sand plant. the current kind of dies off. So then I may have to paddle a little bit or whatever. And I'm going to take this one screw out, I think, down here. Anyhow, so I'm just drifting away. Relaxing day on the river. Got good music playing. Not while I'm videoing because YouTube won't allow it. But anyway, it's been a good day on the river. The good news is the adjustments I've made to the kayak, I think, paid off. At least for this trip, it's been very comfortable. I actually can move. That was weird. How do I get that back? Anyway, I have something on my phone. I was trying to figure out my messaging or whatever. Sorry about that. Nice thing about having a watch that's connected to your phone, you can use that real quick and you don't have to always dig out your phone. So I'm drifting away. Reach back here in my goodies. Let's see. Well, I better get straightened up here a little bit. See what kind of goodies I got. So I come up with this idea. Works pretty good. Dry box. Cheap one. And I got goodies in it. I actually have another dry box. I have 2 more of these. I have 3 choices of snacks. When they come out here. I used to put them in a dry bag in a soft cooler, and they always get crunched up and just crumbs and whatever. Put them in a dry box. Yeah, don't have that problem. Nothing like Cheez-Its. Anyway, so I'm just drifting away, trying to extend my trip. So I will check in with you later. So I'm coming past the sand plant. And this is a sand plant on the Osage River. And I don't see the sand dredge. They got it docked over here. Okay, so we have a barge, and I've never seen the sand dredge docked over there. Well, we've seen it sitting in the river. Okay, so this is a barge on a river. Same rules apply to this barge as on the Missouri River. It will suck you under. Do not get close. The current going past these things will act just like water going down the drain in the bathtub. All seen that suction effect the bathtub has when you drain the bath water? The same thing when you get close to these barges. It'll suck you right under. So, now I know Pike's camp is right around that bend. Boat all day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was fun. Oh hey, on to Pike's camp. I'm coming into Pike's camp. We're basically here. And the boat ramp is amongst these down trees somewhere. River left over here is actually Pike's camp. I think boat ramp is just before that green down tree, after this dead down tree. I think it is. Boat ramp's there somewhere. I guess I can get to it, but I can get to the bank anywhere here. Awful muddy though, but I can get there. If I have to take out on the bank. But there's the boat ramp just like I thought it was. Now the trick is to get to the boat ramp without getting hung up in that tree. We're good. Pull up the rudder. Make our turn in before we do get hung up in that tree. We are at St. Thomas. I'm sorry, Pike's camp. We are at Pike's camp. Okay, now that we're at Pike's camp, take a look around. Oh, I got the kayak here. Did a wonderful job. So the sign that says where we are is up that way, I guess. Anyway, so you got the very important building over there, and then the campsites right over here along the riverbank. There are 3 campsites here at the river right there. This has been in the past very popular. Apparently not so far this year with all this firewood laying around. But campsite number 1 is here. I'm guessing campsites are here. It's where they used to be. You got what I thought fire right there. And looks like somebody's had a fire there. And then there's a fire ring here somebody's made. I thought, of course they left their trash here. I thought that they had metal fire rings here, I thought. And then, anyway, the third campsite. Well, there's some wonderful firewood here. And then the other campsite is right here in this corner. I think this is actually the better campsite. But maybe they never had a fire ring. I don't remember. It's been a while since I camped here. I know there's 3 campsites here though. And then the reason I like this is it seems to have a better path to the river. But I mean, you're close enough to the river. There's your campsites right here. Right here. Your camp shoes right there. Alright, so your camp is right here. And you got the river right there. Of course, the river's up. But you got a good access to get your kayak out right here instead of the boat ramp. And these other 2 sites, that way walk past. You got, it'd be nice if you had a group of you, because you could camp, it's big and well. I guess that site back there would be good too. But anyway, you got good access here too, I guess, better than what I thought. But the river is up. That helps. And it usually stays, when the Bagnell Dam releases, it usually stays about this level. Let's see, these trees here, you got some good access. These trees right here, good access to get in and out. A little muddy, but I don't think it's the soft squishy mud, slick mud. And that will actually dry up a little bit. And closer to the summer months you get, where it's not that sticky, slimy mud. But okay, so here's a look around Pike's camp. Nice big parking lot. I think it does. It used to get crowded here. I don't know if it still does, but this is looking from the camping area. All right. Right, so we come off the river right there. I'm gonna get the truck in there, but anyway. So come off the river, and campsites are right there. But let's say we had to, carry the kayak or whatever. So I have this would be my 3rd kayak cart that I own. So far I like it the best. It is a snap together model, so I can disassemble it, put it inside the kayak, and put it together in just a few minutes when I need to have it. It'd be really handy on my kayak camping trips. So it comes with 1 ratchet strap, not a cam buckle, a ratchet strap, which I didn't like. So I had extra cam buckles around from my kayak rack that I used instead of the ratchet straps. They are way too long. I have to cut them down a little bit, but that's something I just have to work with. So we're going to get it off of here, and then I will disassemble it for you and put it back in the, well, I'm not going to put it back in the kayak because I have to have it out when we transport. But anyway, we're going to disassemble it for you. So hopefully this camera will sit right there. Okay, let me get it disassembled. Now, you just set the kayak off. Just like that. Now, when you put your kayak on this, I couldn't do it because I was at the water and I had people talking down there and whatever. They tell you to set it like that, with the kickstand towards the back of the kayak, and then you want to put it so it's in line with the kayak, with the front of the kayak, and then you just simply pick it up like I did, taking it off, put it back on. So this is the name of this kayak cart. It has 10-inch wheels, 10-inch diameter wheels, 3.5 inches wide. The little pads adjust to the bottom of your kayak, canoe, whatever it is you're using. Okay, so what I did was I had it turned up a little bit like this on both of them, and then when I set the kayak in there, it pushed down to the right angle, and there you have it. So I'm going to take off the straps, put them where we don't lose them. Now you're going to pull this one off. Okay, now we're gonna do these first. So you flip them out and then just snap them off. That way, flip them that way. That one comes off a little bit easier on the wheels. Alright, like such. This one a little bit harder to do. Okay, that's that. Now for this, hard to do with one-handed. So you take the bottom of it, and so you got the top here, the bottom. Wrong way, upside down. Okay. Nope, I had it right the first time. This way, and push down where you, how you didn't see it. Alright, so get it like this and it's locked in. Just pop it on the knee real quick, and it comes apart. Leave the kickstand in there. Leave the kickstand kind of like that. Actually, turned up a little bit like that, and it won't fall out. Now you can take this, put it in your front storage. Take that, throw it in your front storage, at least on this kayak. Take this, put up there, along with your straps. That's what I had to do. This is just my way, okay? And the wheels, since they're 10-inch, and I have a 10-inch hatch opening, they don't fit. So I have to put the wheels in the back. Now when I go camping, a lot of y'all have seen my big red bag I put on my stern deck. All this fits in that. And again, the wheels are a problem, so I have to bungee cord them to the top of that bag. But it keeps all my weight low to the center line. So we're all good. Alright, thanks for watching. Oh, the kayak cart weighs just under 10 pounds. So it is a little bit on the heavy side. But it will transport 300 pounds. So, you know, whatever kayak you have and how much ever camping equipment you put in it, it's gonna take care of that for you. I like it. It works very nice.